Israel just broke the ceasefire that should have been taking place this morning at 10 a.m. between them and the Gaza Strip, and has used it to carry out targeted assassinations against leading figures in Hezbollah and Hamas fighters in Gaza. What does Hezbollah, who's from Lebanon, have to do with it? Well, since the 8th of October, they have joined the battle against Israel, not by full force, but to divert some of the attacks against Gaza and use some of the forces in the Israeli army, and for them not to basically feel free with Gaza and use all of their forces with Gaza. They haven't gone all out, but they have been very active when it comes to targeting Israeli military posts and basically firing rockets at Israel. This morning, Israel has assassinated who is nicknamed Siraj Ra'ad or Abbas Ra'ad. He's the son of a leading figure in the political wing of Hezbollah and is an active leader in Hezbollah himself. They assassinated him alongside 5 members of Hezbollah. They also did not stop the bombardment of Gaza, and many hospital leaders basically and hospital management crews said that they have been abducting and kidnapping people from the hospital, and they clearly did not cease any fire, and they are continuing the bombardment of Gaza. Many people are obviously not surprised because Israel, in many previous cases, did not respect any ceasefire or any truce between them and any party that they're fighting, basically, and they carried out attacks. The significance of this attack, basically, is the level of targeting and the targeted assassinations. Israel thought that with the ceasefire, they could potentially get some more intelligence about the movements of its prisoners in Gaza, and they clearly haven't stopped. But obviously in Gaza, they're aware of this and they had everything well planned. In Lebanon, they clearly had some intel as to where these people were, and they have basically targeted them, and Hezbollah announced their death earlier on, just a couple of hours ago. Leading to the ceasefire, I released a video earlier on talking about the ceasefire, what led to it, the conditions, and how much pressure Israel is facing internally for a ceasefire and against a ceasefire. Leading to that ceasefire, the region has seen very intense escalations throughout multiple areas. There have been escalations in targeting American bases in Iraq. American forces have retaliated. Actions still carried out from Yemen, and Hezbollah also carried out some of its biggest attacks against Israel since the beginning of this recent war. Also, Hamas basically carried out a couple of attacks, and it threw rockets on Tel Aviv in a clear sign that they still have firepower 46 days plus following the beginning of the war. And it's quite normal for both sides to continue basically the attacks up until the ceasefire comes to play. The difference now is the level of intensity when it comes to the fire exchange and the senior figures that were assassinated with Hezbollah. Now, some people are talking, and there have been numerous reports that the ceasefire could now be delayed up until 7 a.m. in Jerusalem time tomorrow morning. How likely that is, I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, no one knows, because Israel, if they broke the current ceasefire or temporary humanitarian pause or whatever people want to call it, they may well break it tomorrow. It could be another sign that Netanyahu wants to drag it again, because he knows he will be facing further pressure when basically a ceasefire comes to play, the prisoners start coming out, and they start saying things that he probably doesn't want to hear. Many people are calling for Netanyahu from now to basically resign. So many people called for him to resign from the beginning of the war, but he used the war as an excuse to save his place basically and carry on. He didn't take any responsibility, although many people, leading figures in the Israeli security establishment, took responsibility apart from Netanyahu himself, who basically led to this disaster. He knows that he may well have to resign if a genuine ongoing ceasefire goes ahead, and he's also facing a massive backlash from his extreme right-wing allies, namely Itamar Ben-Gvir, who basically said that this ceasefire is a humiliation, and who was calling for the reoccupation of Gaza and re-establishment of Israeli Zionist settlements inside of Gaza. So things are looking real tense, and the next few hours will kind of give us a hint to where things are going, and I will keep you updated in the next video.